John Carpenter's Toxic Commando is an entirely online co-op where you play as one of 4 mercenaries, handpicked by a mad scientist to seek and destroy the Sludge God, a subterranean abomination at the source of a zombie siege. I finished this up last week, and now I want to talk about it in a brand new series that I'm calling the Hot and Rotten Review. It's my opportunity to comment on modern zombie media in a game of hot potato. I'll talk about the things that I like, the hot, the things that I don't like, the rotten, and I'll just bounce back and forth between those until I run out. So let's start off with something hot, and that is the cost. $40 for a brand new game in the year 2026 when most games retail at $70 or $80. And it's from a proven zombie-loving studio like Saber Interactive, who already sharpened their teeth with things like World War Z. Something rotten? No single-player campaign. And Toxic Commando really has these rich, vivid, visceral foundations that I crave in every basic story mode.
God, this is very satisfying.
And you can move through all of these missions solo, but man, it is such a slog without other humans online. Something hot is the nonstop action. This game finds a way to pack hundreds of zombies on screen, often running or succumbing to a series of traps or explosions. There were several times where I was just in a constant state of shock that my PlayStation was not like buckling under the pressure of all of the demands the game was making. And it's really become like the definitive next generation experience for me.
Whoa.
Something rotten is the copy-paste slate of main characters. And I know that their overlapping personalities can be explained by their shared commando lifestyle, but the zombie genre thrives on dynamics between distinct survivors, even if it is just a mishmash of shallow archetypes. And in turn, we love visual cues and simple monikers to help make our heroes stand out. We dig the red tie. We long for the yellow dress. Hell, one of the most memorable characters in the definitive zombie movie is called Flyboy because he flies a helicopter. Something hot is the online community. The player base for a game called Toxic Commando is surprisingly non-toxic. And I'm sure that's already a well-worn turn of phrase, but as someone who does not play online because of how historically uncool people have been in things like NBA 2K or the hoops mode of Rocket League, this has been a restoration of good faith in online gaming for me. The worst chat message that I saw out of like 20 to 25 hours of playing was, dude, like the disappointed dude. And then the worst action that I saw was really just people wandering too far off from the group. And when you catch up with them and you see what they're doing, they're just out there killing zombies. Like they're just out there having the time of their lives, and they don't really want to be following like the exact mission and protocol of that specific mission. So I don't know. That feels like such like an innocent thing to be doing because that's why we're all playing the game in the first place. Something rotten is getting through the mud pits. The driving overall is really impressive, and I'm very happy that they included a driving portion to this game because there's plenty of different vehicle types. There's a lot of different ways that you can interact with different vehicles, whether that's changing seats or changing camera views. But anytime that you're in a car and you come across one of these long fields of sludge, and there are a lot of them, and if the person driving the car doesn't know how to operate a winch, or if the car that you're in doesn't have a winch, then you really end up jutting along inch by inch, and it really mucks up the pacing. Something hot? One of my favorite survival strategies was just sitting in a parked car and using a shotgun to pick off these batches of oncoming zombies with the same peace of mind as if I were like reading a book on a porch on a Saturday afternoon. Something rotten? This is more of a comment on modern gaming, and this is definitely of my own doing, but I pre-ordered a physical copy of this game, and it downloaded pretty quickly directly from the disc, which was like 40 gigs, but then there was already a 30 gig update, which took like a day to download. So I don't know. Something hot are the companion comics. I'm not great at absorbing in-game plot details just because my short-term memory has been fried to a crisp, but I did end up getting a lot from this 3-issue prequel series that you can buy digitally from Amazon. Unfortunately, none of the commandos themselves are in it. They're not really called upon until the start of the game, but it was cool to see all of these starting points of like cults and capitalism and like real character conflict. If you're interested, I would definitely check it out. All 3 issues cost like a total of $6, and I think I read through it in like an hour, but I definitely walked away with a deeper appreciation of the game and the plot and just the world of Toxic Commando overall. Something rotten is the repetition. I like the gameplay loop overall, but it doesn't take long before you really get the gist of the routine. Drive, shoot, loot, defend. It never really got its hooks in me, and I would say after like 25 to 30 hours, I feel very spiritually complete with my first run through of this game, and I am excited for DLC, sequels, to see where the franchise can go after this, but for now, there's really nothing else that's making me yearn for more. All right, let's finish on a high note, and that is the ambiance. And I really do think that the vibes alone of this game are going to elevate it above its competitors just for years to come. The music, the color, the visuals, the locations of some of these different tower defense set pieces. Like, if you lust after big budget zombie fun set to delectably retro vibes, then that's what you got with John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. That'll do it for us for this first ever rendition of the Hot and Rotten review. If you've played through this game, I would love to hear about your takes in the comments. Do you agree or disagree with anything that I threw out there? Do you feel like there's some part of the game that I just completely missed out on talking about? Again, this is my first attempt at interacting intentionally with a modern zombie property. I'm always trying to find a way to like look at new media because there's just plenty of new zombie stuff coming out all the time. So just let me know what you thought about the review format, the whole hot and rotten, hot potato sort of thing. I had a lot of fun with it. I feel like it helped me place my thoughts in like easily digestible pieces. But I also am interested in exploring just like different review formats. If you are a longstanding fan of the channel, you may notice that we are not doing a museum induction ceremony right now. And that's because I'm going to reserve that for properties that have been around for like 5 or 10 years. I think that that's a pretty good cutoff, just because I like to wait for some lore to build up around things. There's always just tons of stuff that comes out about like studios or like competing releases. Then there's a lot of stuff that happens after something comes out. I mean, for games especially, it's like DLC or just how the game is continually supported. I mean, just from Saber Interactive, they released World War Z in 2019. That game is still being supported right now, 7 years later. So, that's a very direct comparison to help us understand that like this game is far from done. And I really don't want to induct anything into the museum until the lore around it is like a closed book. So for instance, the thing that I'm working on right now is, I know you can see it off to the side, is Dead Island Riptide. That came out in 2013. The lore for that game is done. There's nothing really else that can be dug up about the history of that game. But for now, this game is going to rest in the Museum of Zombie Media hold right here. So I'll just put that there and we'll let that age for like 5 or 10 years or so. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Stay alive, and we'll see you next time.